What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What is up, you guys? Happy Saturday once again. I wanted to just get on here and release this word that God was giving me. Today has been a pretty good day. It's been one of those days where God has literally kept me busy from sun up and to now sundown. It's been one of those days where I'm literally just getting the chance just kind of rest. And I don't plan to be on here long, but I wanted to just drop this word for those of you guys that need this word. But there was a point today where as I was kind of just cleaning, tidying up my house, preparing to begin to pick back up some of those business ventures that I had to put down when Bella was sick. And there was a point when I was doing all of that where I just kind of just sat and marveled at everything that I've been seeing God do in the last half of this year. I don't know if you guys have ever had one of those moments where, in the mix of a busy day, hey, Miss Allen, I don't know if y'all have, ever had one of those moments where in the mix of you just being busy, being productive, you just take a moment and you just kind of pause and you look at everything around you. And it's just, you just kind of just sit in amazement. It's been one of those days for me. And so our declaration, I didn't even tell y'all what the declaration was. Hey, Miss Baldwin, but our declaration on tonight or this afternoon, it's about to rain here again, is God is making all things right concerning your life. I'm going to say that again. God is making all things right concerning your life. I'm going to say it one more time. God is making all things right. Hey, Visha, concerning your life. I'm going to say it one more time for the one time. God is making all things right. Not just some things, but we are in a season where God is literally making all things right in our lives. But what I was saying was today, in the mix of me cleaning and just preparing to, start to pick back up making shirts and stuff, I had a moment where God just began to I just sat and marveled at everything that's been happening. And it was almost in that moment, it was an aha moment where I realized, that for many of us, the first half of this year was rough. How many of y'all can attest to that? For some of us, it ain't just been, the first half of this year. For some of us, it's just been an ongoing thing, right? It's just been one of those things where it's everywhere we look. It's for many of us, it feels like we went through a Job season. Yeah, it feels at one point things were going well. We were on the up and up. And then out of the blue, it just, for many of us, it feels like life just kind of just took a turn. And, we started to lose different things, had to surrender some things. And, a season like that can just make you feel miserable. It can make you feel like God's hand is not on your life. It can make you feel you want to throw in the towel. It can make you feel like maybe you need to change courses from whatever it is that God has been having you do. But I think, many of us are coming out of that season, are freshly out of that season. And so it brings us to the question of God, okay, what's next? Once this season ends, what's next? But I had a moment where I was just kind of reflecting on the beginning of this year, how stressed I was, how rough it was, how I was going without certain things. Not because I wanted to, but it was just a part of the process. And I had a moment where I was just thinking about that. And you know what God told me? He said, can't you see that I'm making all things right concerning your life? Like, can't you like look at your life and see that like the things that you used to had to go without, the things that you used to didn't have? Can't you see how I'm beginning to usher those things back into your life? I'm bringing you into what I had planned all along. And it brought about the word, which is this: for many of us, right? We are in a season where God understands the sacrifices, the hits, the things that many of us had to endure in the old season. We're in that season where God understands that he knows that for many of us, it took everything, including our faith. It took our hope. He knows that many of us were in situations where it was literally nothing that we could do. And no matter how hard we fought, it's like that season just kept getting worse and worse and worse. It may have started off as a struggle in one area, and it's like before you know it, as the season just continued, for many people, it felt like, God, I'm struggling in every single area of my life. Struggling with bills, struggling in my health, struggling, in relationships, struggling, to find whatever it is that God has for you. For many of us, it was literally a struggle season. But what God is saying is this next move of God, the things that he is doing in this season, it's literally like he's moving in such a way where he's not only just making up for the things that we've had to go through, the things that we've had to surrender, but like it's a season where he's making everything right again. I need some of y'all to just really receive that and believe. Don't yet see it yet. I'm telling y'all, in this season, for many people in the month of September, you're going to see God make something right concerning you. I'm telling y'all, it's like at the beginning of this year, you guys know the journey. When I was going through that housing process, before, I just had to pull out of the deal, it was tumultuous. I was stressed out. I was at my wit's end. It's literally like every area of my life, it felt like it was a struggle. It felt like, even where I lived at the time, it felt like peace could not be found. And I think for many of us, that was the season that we were in, where it's like stuff happening on every single, in every single area of our life, and it was a season that for many of us, it stole a piece of our joy. It's literally like we could not find peace. We may have had like a day where things were good, and then it's like, boom, you right back into dealing with the same stuff. But in this season, God is just simply saying, come on, in this season, starting now, what God is saying is, I am making all things right concerning you. I'm going to say it again. He is making all things right concerning y'all. Sorry, y'all. But the things that you had to go without in the last season, the Lord is saying he's bringing you into a place where you won't have to go without the things that you had to go without in the last season. Even certain areas that were just legitimately a struggle, where progress was hard to make. What God is simply saying is, in this season, not only will progress be made, but the growth that's happening in this season is going to happen at a much rapider pace than many of us have anticipated. It's literally like the blessings are about to not just roll in Amos 9 and 13 kind of style, but they're literally about to take us by siege, right? And it's just God's way of saying, here's your reward for making it through that season. Because you didn't throw in a towel, because you didn't give up, because you didn't curse me, here is your reward. And I think for many of us, the things that he's doing are things that honestly, it just, it got to a point in that Job season where it just felt like you would always struggle in certain areas. It just felt like, certain things would always linger because they have lingered for quite a long time. But in this season, God is bringing closure. He's literally making all things right concerning us. And I don't know why I'm here to tell you this, Sabrina. Hey, Sabrina. But the Lord wants me to tell you, you need to go and tithe. I don't know why he wants me to tell you that, but he wants me to tell you that you need to go and tithe. You need to go and tithe. I don't know. And it's a reason why he's having me to tell you this. There's a reason why he's having me to tell you this. It's always a reason. When God has me to tell someone to tithe or to sow, it's always a reason. And so, that was kind of like where I was. I was just, hold on, y'all. Be quiet in here now. Be quiet. I don't even know what they barking at, y'all. Oh, that dog. Hey, puppy. Hi. Hello. Sorry, y'all. No. No. Get down. Be quiet. Be quiet. Sorry, y'all. The neighbor's dog she's so sweet, but she had to say hey to me. She had to say hey. But that was kind of where what God was dealing with me about today. It's just like it hit me all of a sudden, because I was even telling Visha earlier. I said, in the beginning of this year, I was just making do with what I had. I think many of us have been in that season where we've literally just been making do with what we have, just making the best of what we have, making the best out of situations that we have no choice but to endure. But the Lord says this season, it's all changing. It is literally all changing. And that is the word that he gave me. He is literally making all things right concerning us. And honestly, for me, like it was just something simple that sparked that revelation. It was just like, Lord, there were like, it's like there are so many different cleaning supplies. I'm gonna try to break this down the way that he wants me to break it down. So like, there are so many different cleaning products that a person can have, but like in that Job season, it's literally like there were certain cleaning products that it's just like, God, I can't get there right now. Let me just use what I have, whether it's the Clorox wipes, whether it's the Clorox spray. And it was literally like a make do kind of season. And so it actually started yesterday when God had me go into TJ Maxx, and it's like the things that I've always wanted cleaning supply wise, stuff for stainless steel, you name it. It's literally like that was a moment where God said, I saw what you had to go without. Now, because you're in a new season, let me give you what you had to go without, because it's a new season. And in new seasons, different things begin to happen. And so it's literally like what was held back, like in the old season, heaven is now releasing. I'm going to say that again. What was held back in the old season, heaven is now releasing. I'm going to say it again. What was held back in the old season, heaven is now releasing. And it looks different for so many of us. For some of us, we just need God to open a door, whether it's to a job, whether it's living arrangements, whether it's a vehicle. For some of us, it may be finances, right, that you're in need of. For some of us, it may be, something relationally that you've been believing God for, whether, you're believing to meet your kingdom spouse, whether you're, believing to, have kingdom connections, kingdom friends. For some of us, it may be something as simple as like little things that you used to have to, look over in the store, where God literally says, okay, now you can get it. For some people, it may be just clothes. Some of y'all just literally need new clothes, but you had to make do in the old season. It is legitimately going to look different for every single person. But, and it's not just one thing that God is making it right in. It's literally like in starting this month, starting now, many of us are going to be able to look at every area of our life and be able to see how God made something right. How he took you from not having, or, having to settle, to literally having your heart's desire. For some of you guys, it's long-standing promises, and God is going to be like, listen, I know that last season almost took you out. I know you at your wit's end. Now, boom, here's the promise. Here it is. And so, that was the word that he gave me. And I just, got to a point where I could just sit out here and release that word. But he's making all things right concerning us. Even for me, like when I was going through that situation with Bella and she was sick, there were certain things that I had to go without. A lot of times it's like when finances would come in, she would get sick. And so, even though I had 2 other dogs and they needed their shots too, it's like the money that I used for her, the money that I would have used to get them their shots, I had to spend it on Bella. I pray that I'm making sense. And so it's like, even, in August, I was able to, get all of them their shots, get them all up to date. And so it's literally like God taking the load off of whatever it is, how we've been feeling, what we've been going through. And so that's the word on today. That is it. He is making all things right concerning you. And even on today, I'm not going to share the full testimony because it's not yet time and I don't have her permission. But even on today, there have been, there was a testimony of someone seeing God open a door that has been closed for years. And so, I just say, just keep going. And as you follow God, as you push through, I'm telling y'all, we're literally going to begin to see God rectify the things that we had to put up with in the old season. And so that is the word, y'all. There are some of y'all that need to sow. Does anybody need to be sown for? I feel like there's one person that needs to be sown for. Please do not feel ashamed to say that you need to be sown for if this was your word. But there's one person that needs to be sown for. And the seed title is God is making everything right. He's making it all right. That is the seed title. I don't have a seed number. It's just literally one of those things where you sow as you feel led to sow. God may lead you to sow 10. He may lead you to sow 100. He may lead you to sow 50. He may lead you to sow 5. Do I have anyone that can sow for Miss Allen? If you can sow for her, can you just please type on the screen, God is faithful, if you're able to sow for Miss Allen? I believe that there's one person. There are several people that can sow for her, but there is one person that I believe that the Lord is going to lead to sow for her. So if you can sow for Miss Allen, can you please just type in on the screen that God is faithful? It's one of those seasons, y'all, where God is making everything right. It's like the first half of this year. Okay, Vish, I see you. It's like the first half of this year, I was down bad. Many of us were. And it's like the moment that like June hit, it's literally like things began to turn around. I don't know if y'all and you got money coming, Miss Allen. I don't know why God want me to tell you that. You literally have money coming. You have money coming. Continue looking for the job because you're about to find it. Continue looking for the job because you're about to find it. But, it's like I went from just barely hanging on. And it's like, God, I'm looking at my life and looking at the main areas where I was really struggling. And it's literally like God has begun to rectify, all those things. And so I just give him praise. I give him the glory for what he's doing, not just in my life, but for what he's doing in all of our lives. I'm excited to see what he continues to do this last half of the year, how he brings many of us out, how he begins to elevate many of us and shift many of us into the life that promise, that thing that he had for us all along. And so that is the broadcast. I don't know what he's barking at. That was the broadcast. And so for those of you guys that need prayer, the email is there in the description of this video. The ways to sow are there. Again, the seed title is God is Making It Right. If you need a session, that link is there. But that is it, y'all. I love y'all. I am rooting for you guys, and I'm about to get some much needed rest because I've been cleaning all day. And so until next time, y'all. Peace.